The rain came down in sheets that night, turning the city into a blur of headlights and reflections. Zara Khan tightened her grip on the steering wheel of her battered car, heart pounding as the wipers struggled to keep up. She was late again. Her second job at the diner had ended late, and she was racing across the city to deliver a last-minute cake for a catering gig. Her stomach growled, and exhaustion throbbed behind her eyes. Just 5 more minutes, she whispered to herself. Then home. But fate had other plans. The light turned green, and Zara pressed the accelerator, only for a black car to come out of nowhere, sleek and deadly, cutting across the intersection. Tires screeched, metal screamed, and in the next instant, her world turned white. The impact was brutal. Her car spun, glass shattered, and pain flared in her arm. When it finally stopped, smoke curling from the hood, Zara's ears rang with silence. Then footsteps. From the black car emerged a woman, tall, poised, wrapped in a long dark coat that somehow remained spotless despite the rain. Her hair, jet black and slicked back, framed a face that didn't belong on mortal ground. Her eyes, cold, commanding, met Zara's through the shattered glass. "Damn it," the woman muttered, crouching beside the wreck. "You could have been killed." I think you hit me," Zara stammered, coughing. The woman's lips curved into the faintest smirk. "No, you drove into a storm." Moments later, her men, dressed in black suits, appeared, efficient and silent. They helped pull Zara out, treating her as if she were made of glass. She didn't understand what was happening, only that the mysterious woman kept giving orders, her voice a calm kind of power. "Get her to the car," she said. "Now." "I can't, my delivery," Zara began, but the woman cut her off with a glance that could have frozen fire. "Forget the cake. You're bleeding." The next thing she knew, Zara was being bundled into a luxury car, the scent of leather and gun oil heavy in the air. The woman sat beside her, immaculate, untouched by the chaos she commanded. "What's your name?" the woman asked. "Zara," she whispered. "And you?" The woman paused, her gaze unreadable. "Everyone calls me Reina." Zara blinked. "Like Queen." Reina smiled then, slow and dangerous. "Exactly." Outside, the rain continued to fall. Inside, Zara felt a shiver that had nothing to do with the cold. Something about this woman, her presence, her authority, made the air feel electric. And though Zara didn't know it yet, this crash wasn't an accident. It was the beginning of chaos, one that would burn her world down and make her heart remember what danger truly felt like. Zara woke to the faint hum of rain against glass and the smell of antiseptic mixed with something sweeter, jasmine and smoke. Her head throbbed, and for a moment, she couldn't remember where she was. Then it came rushing back. The crash, the woman, the black car. She sat up slowly, blinking at the room around her. It wasn't a hospital. The walls were pale marble, lit by warm lamps. Heavy velvet curtains framed tall windows overlooking the city skyline. A soft blanket covered her legs, and someone had bandaged her arm with precision. A voice spoke from the doorway. "You heal fast." Zara turned, and there she was. Reina. Dressed in black again, her hair tied back, she looked effortless, untouchable. Her presence filled the room like gravity. "You brought me here?" Zara asked cautiously. Reina crossed the room, the heels of her boots echoing softly on the floor. "You were unconscious." "I don't leave people to die in the rain, especially not because of me." Zara frowned. "You were driving that car." Reina's lips curved slightly. "You're not wrong. But you see, I had a reason to be there." Zara studied her, the cold perfection of her movements, the measured calm. Something about her screamed danger wrapped in elegance. "You sound like someone who doesn't do anything without a reason." Reina gave a faint, amused hum. "Smart girl." Zara flushed at the tone. It wasn't mocking, but intimate, as if Reina saw through her entirely. A man entered the room then, whispering something in Spanish. Reina nodded, her expression shifting from soft to sharp in an instant. "Handle it," she said quietly. The man bowed and left. Zara's heart picked up. "Who are you exactly?" Reina turned back to her, eyes glittering like stormlight. "Someone you shouldn't ask too many questions about." "That sounds ominous." Reina smiled faintly. "It's honest." She moved closer, stopping just beside the bed. "You're safe here, Zara. My people will take you home tomorrow when the road's clear. For now, rest." Zara hesitated. "Why do you care?" Reina's gaze softened for a fraction of a second. Something almost human flickered behind the armor. "Let's say I don't like leaving broken things behind." Before Zara could respond, Reina turned and left the room, the door closing softly behind her. Zara sat there, pulse racing, the echo of Reina's perfume lingering in the air. Every instinct screamed that she should leave, that this woman was dangerous, powerful, and way out of her world. And yet, something inside her twisted. She wanted to see her again. She wanted to know why Reina's eyes held that glimmer of sorrow, why her words felt like both a warning and a promise. As thunder rolled across the city, Zara whispered to herself, "What kind of queen saves a stranger in the night?" She didn't know the answer, not yet. But the first crack in her ordinary life had already spread too deep. The next morning, sunlight spilled through the curtains like liquid gold, warming the marble floor. Zara stirred, still trying to convince herself that the previous night hadn't been a fever dream. But then she saw the bandages, the fine sheets, the untouched breakfast tray beside her bed, and she knew it was real. Reina had kept her here. Zara stood, walking to the window. The view outside was breathtaking. The entire city stretched below, sharp and glittering. Reina's penthouse wasn't just luxury, it was power made visible. When the door opened, Zara flinched. A young woman in a black uniform entered quietly, her expression polite but unreadable. "Miss Khan, Ms. Reina would like to see you for breakfast." Zara hesitated. She wants to see me?" The woman only nodded and gestured for her to follow. They walked down a hall lined with modern art and expensive silence until they reached a glass-walled dining room. Reina was already there, seated at the head of a long table. Black silk shirt, diamond-studded cuffs, coffee steaming beside her. She looked like temptation sculpted from sin. Zara swallowed hard. "You didn't have to feed me too." Reina looked up, eyes soft but sharp. "You were in an accident. You need strength." Zara sat cautiously, feeling out of place among the porcelain plates and silverware. "You really live like this?" Reina tilted her head. "You say that like it's a choice." Zara frowned. "Isn't it?" Reina's smile was thin. "Not in my world." For a few minutes, they ate in silence. Then Reina broke it, her voice low, deliberate. "You're not like most people I meet." Zara blinked. "What's that supposed to mean?" "You're not afraid of me," Reina said simply. "Everyone else either worships or fears me. You question me." Zara met her gaze. "Maybe because I don't know who you are." Reina leaned back, studying her. "And if you did?" Zara shrugged. "Then maybe I'd understand why you talk like every word has a price." Reina chuckled softly, the sound dark, musical, dangerous. "You're braver than you look." "I'm broke, not brave," Zara muttered. "There's a difference." Reina's expression softened again, that flicker of vulnerability Zara couldn't explain. Money doesn't make courage. Sometimes the poorest souls have the strongest hearts. The words made Zara's chest ache, though she didn't know why. As the meal ended, Reina stood. "I have to go handle something. But tonight, come downstairs. There's a small gathering." "A party?" Zara asked, surprised. Reina's smile didn't reach her eyes. "Something like that." When evening fell, Zara found herself standing before double doors that opened into a vast, dimly lit room filled with people, men in suits, women in gowns, and a haze of smoke and laughter. Music pulsed through the air. And at the center of it all, Reina. She stood surrounded by men who looked like they belonged in crime films, her every gesture a command, every glance a danger. The party felt like a movie she didn't belong in. Zara stood near the bar, clutching a glass of water while the city's most dangerous people laughed and whispered in the shadows. Everything shimmered: diamonds, liquor, secrets. Reina moved through the crowd like she owned the night. Every eye followed her, but her gaze only sought one thing: Zara. When their eyes met across the room, the noise faded. For a moment, Zara could almost forget who these people were, forget the expensive suits, the bodyguards, the heavy scent of crime in the air. All she saw was Reina's quiet intensity, the curve of her lips, the loneliness hiding in her poise. A man in a white suit approached Reina, bowing slightly. Zara noticed the tension in his posture, the way Reina's expression hardened. Their conversation grew sharp, inaudible under the music. Suddenly, Reina grabbed his collar and hissed something that made his face pale. Then she smiled, the kind of smile that promised both mercy and death, and let him go. Zara's heart pounded. This was the side of Reina she hadn't seen: ruthless, commanding, terrifyingly calm. When Reina finally approached her, the crowd parted like the sea. "You shouldn't be here," she murmured. "You invited me. I didn't think you'd come." "I was curious," Zara said quietly. "Now I'm not sure what I'm looking at." Reina sighed, the steel in her eyes softening. "You're looking at a woman who built her empire from blood and betrayal. And yet you saved me," Zara whispered. "Why?" Reina stepped closer, her perfume wrapping around Zara like smoke. "Maybe because you remind me of something I lost a long time ago." Zara's breath hitched. "What's that?" "Peace." The word hung between them, fragile, dangerous. They stood too close now, their shadows merging under the amber lights. Reina reached out slowly, her gloved fingers brushing Zara's cheek. The touch was barely there, but it sent fire down Zara's spine. "You don't belong in this world, Zara," Reina said softly. "If you stay near me, it will ruin you." "Then why do you keep looking at me like that?" Reina froze, then let out a quiet, broken laugh. "Because I can't help it." Their eyes locked, and in that heartbeat, everything they shouldn't feel caught fire. Reina leaned closer, her breath ghosting over Zara's lips. For a second, Zara thought she'd kiss her, but Reina pulled away, pain flickering in her eyes. "Go home," she whispered. "Before I forget what mercy is." Zara's chest ached, but she nodded, leaving the party as the storm outside began again. From the balcony, Reina watched her disappear into the rain, the one thing in her world she wanted but couldn't touch. And for the first time in years, the queen of the underworld felt powerless. Days passed, but the memory of Reina stayed like smoke in Zara's lungs, intoxicating and impossible to clear. She went back to her small apartment, to her shift at the diner, to her quiet life of bills and noise and exhaustion. But nothing felt the same. The world outside seemed duller. Sometimes, late at night, she caught herself glancing out the window as if a black car might appear again. She hated herself for it. For missing the danger. For missing her. Then one evening, she noticed two men at the corner of her street, the same kind of suits she'd seen at Reina's gathering. Her stomach sank. When she closed her shift, a voice stopped her in the alley. "Zara." Reina stepped out of the shadows, her coat damp with rain, her hair undone. For the first time, she looked less like a queen and more like a woman carrying the weight of too many secrets. "You shouldn't be here," Zara said, but her voice trembled. "I didn't come to scare you." Reina's tone was soft, low. "I came because I couldn't stop thinking about you." Zara's chest tightened. You made it pretty clear I don't belong in your world. Reyna smiled faintly. I said that to protect you. But the truth is, you've been in my head since the night of the crash. I can't shake you. The confession hit Zara harder than she expected. Then what do you want from me? Reyna took a step closer. Nothing. Another step. And everything. Zara felt her pulse quicken. The rain was falling harder now, soaking through her clothes, but neither of them moved. You think I'm some kind of monster, Reyna whispered. Maybe I am. But when I'm near you, it's the first time I feel. She stopped, her throat tightening. Human. Zara's heart cracked open. Then stop running from it. For a long moment, they just stood there, rain sliding down their faces, eyes locked. Then Reyna reached out, her hand trembling slightly as it brushed Zara's cheek. Zara leaned into the touch without meaning to. You can't save me from this, Reyna murmured. Maybe I don't want saving, Zara said quietly. Reyna's breath hitched, her resolve breaking for just an instant. You don't understand what being near me costs. Then let me decide what I can afford. The sound of thunder swallowed their words. Reyna's hand lingered at Zara's jaw, her thumb tracing the curve of her lips. And though the world around them was chaos, sirens in the distance, rain hammering the street, there was a strange peace in that closeness. Not a kiss, not yet, but something rawer, the kind of silence that feels like a heartbeat shared between two doomed souls. When Reyna finally stepped back, her eyes glistened. You deserve a life untouched by blood. Zara whispered, then why do you keep staining mine with yours? Reyna didn't answer. She just looked at her one last time before vanishing into the rain, leaving Zara shivering, heart split between fear and longing. 2 weeks passed. The city hummed with whispers, another gang war, another body found near the docks. Zara didn't want to believe it was connected to Reyna, but deep down she knew it was. The woman who had saved her that night didn't belong to peace. She belonged to power, and power always demanded blood. Then, one evening, a black envelope appeared at Zara's doorstep. Inside was a single line written in elegant handwriting. Come to the place where it began. Her fingers trembled. The intersection. The crash. By the time she arrived, the street was empty, glistening under the city lights. The rain had stopped, leaving the air thick and cold. A familiar car was parked near the curb, the same black one that had nearly ended her life. Reyna stood beside it. She looked exhausted, shadows under her eyes, her hair messy from the wind. But even broken, she was beautiful. You shouldn't have come, she said softly. You sent for me. Reyna gave a hollow laugh. I didn't think you'd still listen. Zara took a careful step forward. What's happening? Reyna's eyes flickered toward the alleyway, and Zara saw movement. Armed men, shadows with guns. Her heart stopped. Reyna. They're here for me, Reyna said quietly. A betrayal inside my own circle. I knew it would come. Zara's throat went dry. Then we leave, run, hide. Reyna shook her head. There's no running from a crown made of knives. A shot rang out in the distance. Zara flinched and Reyna's hand went to her side, not for a gun, but for reassurance. Listen to me. Go home. Forget me. No, Zara said, stepping closer, eyes burning. You saved my life. Let me save yours. Reyna smiled, not the dangerous smile she wore for the world, but something soft, real. You already did. Before Zara could speak, a car screeched around the corner. Bullets shattered the silence. Reyna grabbed Zara, pulling her behind the wrecked vehicle. The noise was deafening, flashes of light cutting through the dark. When it was over, the world felt too still. Smoke hung in the air. Reyna slumped against the car, blood blooming across her shirt. Reyna, no, stay with me, Zara begged, pressing her hands over the wound. Raina's breathing was shallow, her eyes fixed on Zara's face like she was memorizing it. I told you, chaos follows me. Zara shook her head, tears blurring her vision. I don't care. I'd take chaos if it means you. Raina's lips curved faintly. You poor, foolish girl. Her voice cracked. Don't ever stop being the light they can't touch. And then silence. Zara held her, the world spinning, the sirens wailing in the distance. When they found her, she was still there, a girl from nowhere, clutching the fallen queen like she could will her heart to beat again. Weeks later, the newspapers spoke of the fall of a criminal empire. No one mentioned the girl who had loved its ruler.